Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. This is a tag that I do every single year, and I know that it's almost July, so I'm a little bit behind, but it's a good way to kind of stop and assess what you've read so far this year. I will definitely put links up in the cards for my previous mid-year book freakout tags if you guys are interested in checking them out, and I will also list all of the prompts down below in the description box. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into the prompts. Prompt number 1 is, what is the best book that you have read so far this year? So the first one is The Dark Forest by Cixin Liu. This is the second book in the Remembrance of Earth's Past, or the Three Body Problem trilogy. And the reason that I liked this book so much is because we are several decades into the future, several centuries into the future, and I really liked following Luoji's story. I wasn't a fan of him as a character at the beginning, but I can appreciate the growth that he had over the course of the book, as well as his impact on the relationship between the Trisolarans and the humans. He was literally kind of the gatekeeper, and I just found it really interesting how the author incorporated the dark forest theory into the plot, because it even plays into the third and final book. And the whole sociological aspect and the avenue that Cixin Liu took with that kind of surprised me, because this is a sci-fi book and he uses a sociological theory to progress the plot. So I just thought it was an interesting, plot device that he threw in there, and definitely an enjoyable sequel. Prompt number 2 is the best sequel that you have read so far this year. So I'm going to go with Titanic by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 3 in his Skyward Quartet. And I do have a full review for this. I'll link it up in the cards for you guys. While this wasn't my favorite out of the books in the series, in fact, probably the first 2/3 of this book I really struggled through, he really made up for it in the end when he explains more about the Delvers, how they were created, what exactly they are, and how they play into the entire plot. I thought that was really interesting, and it kind of made up for the drudgery of the first part of the book. Prompt 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet but want to, and I'm going to have to go with Mal Goes to War by Edward Ashton. This is his newest release. It came out in April. In this book, we are following a free AI known as Mal. In this book, there is a war going on between humans, two different sides, one known as the Federals and one known as the Humanists. One day, Mal finds himself inadvertently involved in this war. He is out salvaging and ends up getting trapped in the body of a cyborg. A cyborg is tasked with protecting a modified human girl. This book is described as a dark comedy, techno-thriller, satirical type story. I know that Edward Ashton is definitely capable of including a lot of humor into this story. Prompt 4 is, what is your most anticipated new release for the second half of the year? And of course, I'm going to have to go with Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. I have read all of the Stormlight archives, most of the books in his Cosmere, and I'm just ready to delve back into this world. I do have a full review for Rhythm of War, as well as a live show I did with 2 other awesome booktubers, which I will link up in the cards if you guys want to check them out. I already told my husband that you can go ahead and pre-order that for me for Christmas, because I'm super excited that it's coming out this year. The next prompt is your biggest disappointment for the year, and that is going to have to be The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. I did read House of Hollow by her, which I enjoyed overall, and I will definitely link that in the cards if you want to check it out. Crystal Sutherland definitely knows how to write dark, gritty, creepy stories. This would be a really good book to read around the Halloween spooky season time. In this book, we are following essentially 3 different witches, and one witch has all of these clients, women that she was helping, and these women are turning up murdered. So it is a murder mystery combined with some paranormal, and it does include demons and demon possession and curses and all of that. The reason that I didn't like it so much is I found this book just to be incredibly, for lack of a better term, sexist. Men are portrayed in an extremely negative light in this book, and I'm not talking about one man, I'm talking about all men, and unfortunately that is a generalization. You can't take one group of people, one gender, one sex, one race, one nationality. You can't take those one group of people and generalize them. People are all individuals. We all have the ability to make our own choices. So to say that all men are bad or all women are bad or all of a certain group of people are bad and evil, it's a fallacy in my opinion. So I really didn't appreciate just the views that she was presenting, because every single man, even the man that you thought was good, the one man that was kind and was given in a good light, turned out to be this evil bastard. So unfortunately, I just didn't appreciate the sexism in this book and it wasn't for me. Prompt 6 is, what is your biggest surprise so far of the year? And I'm going to have to go with Serpent in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This book has definitely been getting a lot of hype over the last year or so. It is a self-published book that was traditionally published, I think, due to its popularity. For me, I'm very skeptical about books that are overhyped because usually I'm let down when I read them, but this one definitely lived up to the hype in my opinion. And it is a vampire story. Vampires had their heyday, you know, about a decade ago. So to create a new vampire story, to put your own original spin on it is really hard to do, and I feel like the author did a pretty good job with that. This definitely has a lot of Hunger Games type vibes. This book, I think, is categorized as romantasy, and in my personal opinion, this book is way more plot heavy than romance heavy. There is a slow burn romance in this book that was really well done. There's one sex scene, so it's definitely not like a smut heavy book, and overall it just surprised me. Prompt 7 is my new favorite author, and I think I'm going to go with Cixin Liu on this because I did read the entire Three Body trilogy and really enjoyed it. I feel like he includes a lot of fiction combined with real science that really kept me intrigued as a reader and actually learn new things, and I can appreciate when an author does that, and I would definitely consider reading more of his works. Prompt 8 is my newest fictional crush. I don't have one. I don't get crushes on fictional characters. Next prompt is a book that made me cry. I have the same answer every single year. It is very hard for a book to make me cry, so I don't have one. And then the next prompt is a book that made me happy. I always say the same answer. All books make me happy. I absolutely love reading. I love escaping into worlds. I love learning new things. I love learning new vocabulary. I love being able to experience the world through other people's point of views and perception of things. So just reading makes me happy in general. Prompt 12 is the most beautiful book that I have bought or received this year. And I just received from my friend Dom over at Dominish Books, The Advent of Winter. This is a book that is a collection of short stories written by independent authors. And it's definitely a very lovely book. I don't even think I have a book probably that's as pretty as this, but like I said, it's a collection of short stories, and obviously we have the shiny cover. We have these sprayed edges, but even on the inside, it's very wintry themed. And then the artwork on the inside. We have all of the author contributors on the spine. And I don't think there's artwork on the inside. You know, honestly, I didn't look at everything. But it's just a gorgeous book, and definitely one that I would love to read in the winter season because 'tis the season, right? So thank you so much, Dom, for sending this to me. It is a beautiful book. And the last prompt are books that I would like to read by the end of the year. So there is one series that I want to finish by the end of the year. It is a priority. And believe it or not, I've actually read the first 2 books in the series, and it's been so long since I have read them that I plan on starting from the beginning. That is the Draconis Memoria series by Anthony Ryan. And these books are very dense. There is a lot of politics in this book, if I remember correctly. And I don't want to read the finale having forgotten what happened in the first 2 books because I'll just be super confused and it'll decrease my enjoyment of the series in general. So I have all of these books. I ended up getting them on audiobook. My husband's currently finishing up his graduate degree, and he got an audiobook subscription because some of the books for his classes are, you know, actual books, not textbooks that he needed to read. So he got this audiobook subscription, and anytime he doesn't use the monthly credit, he lets me get a book since he's paying for it anyway. So I ended up getting all of the Draconis Memoria books because that will help me to reread these super quickly and finally finish out the series, because Anthony Ryan is actually coming out with a new series, I think in September, and he's one of my favorite authors of all time, so I want to make sure that I'm caught up on all of his work before I even delve into his new series. Okay, you guys, that is it for the mid-year book freakout tag. Let me know in the comments some of your responses to these prompts. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye!